Now, the interesting thing is, Matt, when you and I were at One Buccaneer Place for Todd Bowles' press conference, he was talking about his staff and how he had to kind of get on a Zoom call with his staff to let him know, hey, I'm the head coach now, and here's what the schedule is going to be for the offseason. That was during the week where the coaches had the week off. So Bruce Arians wrecked Todd Bowles the week off by saying, you got promoted. And Todd Bowles was like, okay, a couple more million in my pocket. That'll make up for me having my week off wrecked this offseason. But the interesting thing is this. Todd Bowles said, we have to go over some things, and there's some new things we're going to do on defense that the coaches don't even know about. So
that's right.
Listen, Todd Bowles has always got the wheels turning, right? I think he was limited so much by what he could do last year with all the injuries at the cornerback position and even the safeties, right? With Mike Edwards missing a couple games with the suspension, Antoine Winfield and Jordan Whitehead missed some games with their injuries. But Matt, it seems to me like we might see some real unique tweaks and changes to this Bucs defense. And maybe Neal's one of those flex position players like Logan Ryan, where Logan Ryan might be a safety in a corner and Keanu Neal might be a safety and a linebacker.
Yeah, I was smiling because you said that we might see some unique things from the Bucs defense. Meanwhile, we've seen like Vita Vea drop back in coverage and Jason Pierre-Paul collect 2 interceptions 2 seasons ago. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Todd Bowles is all about versatility, all about just, again, throwing the kitchen sink and making the quarterback think. And, he's moving protection to the right and the Bucs are blitzing from the left. Yeah. I absolutely love, and we saw it too. Now, these players are obviously more traditional safeties, but, Antoine Winfield Jr., I absolutely love when he's up at the line of scrimmage, when they blitz him off the edge.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
It reminds me of Rondé Barber.
He doesn't get there 100% of the time, but it feels like that he gets there 100% of the times. And when he gets to the quarterback too, he's knocking that football out as well. He's not just getting the sack. He's knocking the football out too. Jordan Whitehead, I understand, no longer with the Bucs, but his role when he was here with the Bucs, physical guy, contact player, and his best attribute was playing up at the line of scrimmage, stopping the run there. So I just see a great opportunity here with Keanu Neal, knowing that he's played safety and he's played linebacker. He understands both of those. Like, let's face it, Levante David and Devin White are not going to come off the field if they are 100% healthy. So it's not like some people are saying, oh, he could replace Kevin Minter. That could be something where Minter maybe doesn't make the team, but I don't think we're going to just slot Keanu Neal straight up into the third linebacker role.
Right.
I see some great opportunities where, maybe sometimes they'll line up 3 linebackers because Todd Bowles will just, pull something that a team hasn't seen yet. And other times you think he's lining up at linebacker and then he's moving back to safety and he's getting in coverage and throwing everything off on the offense. There's so many options. With Todd Bowles
and it could be the same thing with Logan Ryan where he's lining up at safety, right? And all of a sudden he drops down into the slot, or he's lining up at slot and all of a sudden he switches positions with Antoine Winfield, bringing their games to Tampa because it does give Todd Bowles the green light to do more things and be more creative and have more flexibility in case there's injuries too, right? That's another key component. Listen, the Buccaneers were scarred last year, right? Yeah. We've seen how they were injured at the receiver position down the stretch. AB's gone, right? Kicked off the team or quit on the team, however you want to look at it. Chris Godwin's out for the year with the ACL, and then down the stretch you saw Brashard Perriman and also Cyril Grayson missed the last game with those injuries, I believe hamstring injuries. And so now all of a sudden the Buccaneers are ramping up a wide receiver, right? They're getting Russell Gage. They're bringing in guys like Treylon Burks, and we'll talk about Burks in a second here. But bringing in some receivers for those top 30 visits, I think you're going to see this team stockpile more defensive backs just because they were shell-shocked. They were shell-shocked at wide receiver in 2019 at the end of the season and also last year. So they're stocking up there. And I think they're going to be stocking up in the draft too in the defensive secondary, even though they bring in a Keanu Neal and a Logan Ryan because they're only going to be here for 1 year. You want to get some of those younger blood guys in there. And let's not forget, in addition to Mike Edwards being in a contract year, same thing for Jamel Dean and Sean Murphy-Bunting.
Yeah, absolutely true. And I think we've seen the past 2 years with the Bucs under Todd Bowles. I know he's been there 3 years, but if you look more at the last 2 years, the Bucs have suffered major injuries along the defensive line, whether it was Vita Vea in 2020 or JPP missing a bunch of games this year.
Yeah.
And the Bucs, even though both players are important when they're fully healthy, the Bucs were still able to, keep the ship steady and keep going and still being a very productive defense.
Yeah.
When SMB got hurt, when Carlton got hurt, when some of the safeties missed time too, that was really where it hurt, I think, the Bucs more than anything else. So I think Todd Bowles understands, okay, you need depth everywhere. There's no question. Yeah. But the loss of the guys in the secondary, especially with what Todd Bowles likes to run, that is way more detrimental to this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense than if they were to lose a guy on the defensive line. You need depth everywhere, but I guess if you had to choose and you don't want to choose either, the lesser of two evils really would be if you have more depth and quality guys that you could put in the secondary. And that's why I think, too, more than anything else, and you see it with the signing of Keanu Neal, Todd Bowles is more than anything else is going to want to bring in playmakers because of that versatility. Because if one guy goes down, okay, we can move this guy here and this guy there and come up with something completely different. We're going to put Antoine Winfield Jr. in the slot because we like our other safety to, play further back. I just think if you get more playmakers, you can move guys around, move Joe Tryon-Shoyinka to the inside. Mm-hmm. We obviously saw that. It's just all about producing athletes on this defense, which is when I really think, Todd Bowles is at his best. And that's when you have Patrick Mahomes running around, literally jumping to throw the ball because he has no other options.
Yeah, and it looks like Peter Reports J.C. Allen in our Peter Reports group text is reporting that he will be a safety. I guess he got a phone with the agent, so he will be a safety. But of course, he does have that flexibility to be a linebacker, so that's something that the Bucs can fall back on. But 14 games last year in Dallas, 5 starts, terrific around the box. Bigger player like Whitehead, very similar, but the biggest thing is, can he stay healthy? He had 72 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits last year in Dallas. But this was a player that he had 3 healthy seasons in Atlanta, and he had 100 plus tackles in those seasons. He's a big time hitter, so I think he is that Jordan Whitehead replacement right there.